Good afternoon and welcome to this week's Rational Thinking. My name's Sam and this week we'll be taking a look at the following. UK-EU trade discussions and some dovish comments from policymakers at the Bank of England. So sterling opened higher on Wednesday, benefiting from investors moving away from the safe haven of the US dollar and Swiss franc as fears of an escalation in the US-Iran conflict were low. Sterling's gains, however, were limited as markets prepared for the first instalment of UK-EU trade discussions. PM Johnson met with EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, who warned a trade deal by the end of 2020 was virtually impossible, with EU Chief Negotiator Barnier labelling the timetable to agree a deal as short and extremely challenging. With Johnson reluctant to grant an extension to the transition period at the end of the year, concerns remain that the time frame left to negotiate a deal with the EU is too short. If a deal cannot be agreed by the end of the transition period, the UK would leave on WTO terms, which would be detrimental to sterling and bad news for the British economy. Next up, we'll be taking a look at some dovish comments from Bank of England policymakers, which are potentially signalling an interest rate cut for the UK. Sterling fell close to two-week lows against the US dollar last week, following comments from Bank of England policymakers. Bank of England Governor Mark Carney was joined by policymakers Ten Rero and Vlieg, who signalled that they are leaning towards a rate cut as soon as this month, should the current spell of economic weakness persist. As it stands, the money markets are pricing in a 60% chance of a 25 basis point cut. Taking a look at the data for this week, in light of recent comments from Bank of England policymakers, sterling data is going to be placed under the microscope this week. This week for sterling, we have manufacturing and industrial production, inflation data and retail sales. With regards to the US dollar, we have inflation data as well as retail sales and Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. On the euro side, it's quite a mild week for the euro. We have President Lagarde speaking, but we also have some inflation data out later on in the week on Friday. That's all for this week, but please don't forget, please like and share this video. If you do have any currency requirements, please feel free to get in touch and we'll be more than happy to assist. See you soon.